right, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're about to jump into a whole new year here. I hope you're excited. I'm definitely excited because this last month was started with a bang. It was started great, and I really screwed it up, blew up my account, and I want to go into the new year with a focused mind and hopefully, perform much better into the going year and really, learn from things and progress, get better as a trader. That's why we're all here. We all want to get better, obviously make, good money and have a better life because of it. So anyways, today or tonight, I wanted to go over, the market opens up tomorrow. Will be the first day of the market opening up for 2021. And I wanted to go over kind of like a revisiting my previous month and really come up with maybe a quick strategy here going into the new year. And this isn't, it's kind of like new rules. It's really just a revision of or analyzing what I did bad in the last 2 months or 3 months or year, and coming up with maybe 1 or 2 new rules and maybe trying to stick to those, especially for the new month, January, going into the new year. So follow along with me here. Make sure to subscribe to this, like this video if you are enjoying the trading journey here. I did receive some comments from some of you guys out there, and it seems like some of you had some rough trades and a rough couple last weeks, and even a bad month or two. So, I think for all traders, we're all going to go through that at some point. And, we know the market has these swings. It's like this seasonality in the market where things can really pick up, and we can have a hot market for a week, and then it fades and it slows down for the next week. Things are always constantly, moving. So we have to learn to adjust to those and really trade according to the market. And one of the frustrations I always have is trying to figure that out as it unfolds. And for example, you could be trading in a hot market and thinking that's going to continue, and then suddenly the strategy you were using is no longer effective anymore for the new market that is prevailing. And I guess that's where that experience comes in knowing when to maybe ease off the throttle a bit and when to put on the throttle a lot harder and trade more aggressively. Because I really feel like you do have to adjust to the market swings. It's not like any one given strategy will work 100% of the time all the time. If you've had any experience with trading, that's for sure, at least day trading. And so anyways, I want you guys to comment in the comment section and let me know. This is what I'm going to cover, but I'd love to hear from you guys. First, I'm gonna go over basically what I did bad, and then what I also did good for like the last 2 months, and then come up with 1 or 2 new rules for this future trading for me, at least for the next week or 2. So first off, let's talk about the bad here. Really for me, when I kind of go back and look at things, I want to share my my screen with you here. Let me transition this and show you a few things. I know I had one really big bad slip up here. Let me show you. Let's look at this graph right here, this chart. This was right in here. This was the beginning of December, and I really had a great. I did initially have a pretty bad couple losses, but I did recover from those pretty well, and I had this awesome green streak that took me up to $3,144, which is great. My problem was I gained this confidence and thinking that was kind of going to continue. I was going to be able to perform like that for, for a while. And things changed, and I started making a few slip ups and quickly took that right back down. So this graph right here is showing November and December. So you can see November was really not much of anything because it was the cash account. It was just a slow grind up. But once I hit that margin account in December, it went crazy. I started trading a whole lot more. So maybe over trading quite a bit and ran it up, which was great, and then ran it down, ran it back up, and then kind of just had a bad couple last days and really dropped it right into the floor, went negative, and then brought it positive for just the last like 2 days of December, and then managed to really screw it up. I had a horrible last trade that really it was the stupidest thing and put me in the biggest hole. And so what I wanted to go back on is the thing I did bad, or things I did bad. So I feel like I did a lot of chasing. I'm going to go to one specific trade here that brought me, this was my last trade of that year of 2020, and it was on AINC. This was a huge loss for me. So here we are, AINC, and the bad thing I want to talk about is chasing. So chasing is a very common bad habit to kind of pick up. And a lot of times it happens from things kind of taking off and you trying to get in and trying to capitalize on them. But sometimes you don't wait for a good setup. And that's, I think, what I did here, but I also had the mistake of share size. So those are two important things. Is I didn't have the right share size. I went in way too heavy and way too big, and I kind of chased this. So when I really look at this graph here, this thing, trying to get to a good position here. Okay, so this is pre-market. Okay, it was obviously a gapper, and it would spike up, hit this high, go back down, consolidate, do it again. So you saw there was resistance here, like at $11.20, both in the aftermarket and the pre-market section of this chart here. And when I started trading this that day, I forget what day it was. What was the last day? It was Thursday. No. Yeah, it was open New Year's Eve. The 31st. So, yeah, anyways, I saw this thing just spike really hard, really fast, go up, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to break this resistance and continue on. And what I did is I hopped in just real fast after just seeing it for a second and hopping in so quickly instead of like analyzing it for just a sec to really see what's going on. And once again, the problem I had was that I jumped in with massive share size. So I have 3 buttons on my speed keys here that are very important, and I use them. I have a 300 share size, a 600, and a 1,000 share size button. It's 7, 8, 9. And I use those to get into my positions. And sometimes if I don't do the math, I'll get into a bad position like this where I didn't look at what it was trading at. It was trading at $11. So what I try to keep my share size at least for like the last month that I've been trading, is about $5,000 max. I typically don't want to go above that as far as my account like value, my portfolio. So each trade I make, I don't want to risk more than $5,000. And so and once again, that's on the max side of things. And so jumping into this position, I, without even thinking about it, went for my largest button, which is a 1,000 share size, and here I am into this position at $11,000. So way over leveraged in this position. And it was kind of a mistake on my part because I feel like I accidentally pressed it. But either way, I got filled and I got in it, and I should have just, you know, in retrospect, sold immediately. But what happened here is I got in at the high basically. When I saw this thing push, I think I hopped in like 11, I don't know, 11.17, something like that. Basically the high of this thing, and it absolutely reversed. And I should have stepped back before I jumped into it, first off, to look at it and go, okay, don't chase first off. Let it get there and even break beyond the resistance here. The highest point I saw pre-market, aftermarket was what, 1140. So let it break that first to show it has the strength to get through it. But instead, I anticipated it and jumped in early, and it was at the high. And what happened? It hit that resistance, boom, and flipped the other way. Now I'm holding the bag. I've got a huge share size. The problem here is it went right into a halt. It flashed down, boom, went into a halt. So now I'm stuck holding this thing, and flashes further down. And so for me, I look at this was my biggest loser. It was the biggest mistake. It ruined my December month. And it was the one thing I was chasing, definitely. And then not analyzing share size. So jumping in, not having the appropriate share size. This should have been $5,000 max. So I should have gone in with my 600 or 300 share size button. And that's what really screwed me up on this thing. So that's the kind of thing I want to focus on. That's what I did bad, chasing and share size. And that was kind of consistent throughout some of my bad trades in the month. So please share with me. That's the first thing we're covering is what did you do bad? One or two things that you did real bad that you're trying to get better at and need to get yourself in check on. The second I want to talk about is actually what did you do good? So I'm going to go back and think about right here on just my last 2 months. What did I do good? And just right off the top of my head, I can remember that I did practice some good patience and sitting on my hands at the beginning of the markets. So every market day, typically there's a lot of volatility, and sometimes it's right out of the gates. And I used to make a lot of trades like right into the market open. But what I've realized, if I sit back, especially with E-Trade, because it's not always the best platform to get executions on, I feel like once the market opens, you get this flood of buying and selling that goes on. It's very volatile, from my experience, and things move around like crazy. And sometimes it's hard to analyze how a stock is going to be moving that day. Sometimes you'll get these crazy things where things rip up for a sec and they look like they're just going to blow through the roof and reverse and just go right back down, kind of like this thing, but more towards like right when the market opens. So I've learned to, if you're really good and if you're really experienced and you've got a really good platform or brokerage where you can execute without any hesitations, like I feel like go for it if you feel like you're experienced. But for me, doing this patience, sitting on my hands and just letting the market open and seeing where things trade gets me into a better position of going, oh, that one's fading, and I'll let them fade until I see them turn around and get more strength, and then I can get in for a good position. So that is one thing that I did good, is practice my patience during the market open. So I want to try to continue that maybe, and not worry about as much as trying to get in trades right out of the gates, because I feel like that typically doesn't work well for me. So let me know what you think you did great this last month or the month before. What have you been doing that's been working really well for you? And then so that's it. We got to cover the bad and cover the good. So make sure to drop in the comments what you did bad, what you did good. And then also let's talk about, maybe some new rules. So for me, I'm really thinking about it. I go, what rule do I need to implement? And, I'm not a huge stickler on rules. I think they're important at certain times when you've been trading real bad. They can help out. They can also restrict you sometimes. And so, yeah, rules, I feel like they're good to have. And sometimes you got to break them, and sometimes that works for you, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know. It's analyzing it. And so for me, I'm thinking about new rules, and I think what I'm going to create for this month going forward, definitely for at least the first week of January, is I want to have a rule of kind of a max loss of $300. So let's say I get to trading, whether I'm up or down a little bit in the beginning, doesn't matter. If I go to being negative 300, I need to tell myself to stop for a sec, take a breather, reanalyze everything, and give myself one more chance to get back in the right direction. So it's like, if I get to that 300, if I cross that 300, the second I cross the $300 loss mark, just take a breather, and I'll give myself one more chance to get green and maybe turn it around. So if I take one more trade and it's a -1, I think I just need to call it quits completely. And let me change something for you guys here. Cool. Yeah, so max of $300 loss. Now, if it does go below that, that's okay. But I want to give myself just one more chance to try to do a green trade and hopefully set it back in the right direction and possibly work out of it. But I think for me, I had a lot of great days in December here. I'll show you that were just great green days. Like towards the beginning here, look, I had 796, 453, 77, 329, 1,000, 880, 89, 528. So these are great green days, right? And unfortunately, the red days I have are massive. And so I need to get those in check. And I think maybe trying to set this rule of crossing that $300 down max, and giving myself one more chance to make a green trade and get back. And if the next trade is red, then I think I just need to have a hard line to quit. Because if I can do, I think, under a $400 to $500 loss on my red days, I think I'd be in a much better position here, especially on this month. I'd be green for sure, and especially with all my green days. My green days aren't bad; they're relatively pretty good. It's just my red days are big and bad. And so if I can get those in check, those are my biggest problem. If I can get those in check, I think I'll be in a much better position. And of course, it's one thing to say it and plan for it. It doesn't always happen that way, but I think planning is going to help. So, anyways, like I said, I've been hearing from some of you in the comments, and some of you have been through quite some losses. Just like I have, and just so you know, you've got a friend here, and I know the struggle. I'm there with you, and I all want us to get better and to be able to, I think most of all you people who are traders out there is the goal is to be able to do this full time and make a really good income doing it. And because I know lots of you are doing this as kind of a side thing, and you have other jobs and things that you do, and focusing on this prime time would be great if you could do it to where you could get a full-time income with it. So that's where I'm gonna leave it with you guys, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Once again, the things you're doing bad, the things you're doing good, and then what are your new rules going into this new year. That's kind of what I got here, and I'm wishing you guys all the best. Yeah, I still feel the pain from last month, and I know I had a great beginning, and I know I have the power to keep that going. It's just that I've got to keep those red days in check. So, I think more likely than not, maybe you guys are quite similar to something that with this, as far as like how your stats are going, and I hope you're much better than me, or at least improving. And but like this for me, it's too volatile. There's too much swings going from high to lows, and so if I can take those curves out and just take those red days to a smaller days, I think I'd have a more consistent hill up. Yeah, so we'll leave it there. Wishing you all the best of 2021. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Give the channel a like if you guys are enjoying this. I really do it for everyone out there that is getting into the trading game here. And it's just, I figure it's a great way to compare yourself and at least see how someone else is kind of doing it and progressing and learning and failing and succeeding. So yeah, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you guys on the next one. We'll see you actually tomorrow. Yeah, we'll shoot the next video tomorrow, Monday morning, and first day of 2021. Good luck to you.